to the HSC Alliance Masterclass series. My name is Marco Tiemann. I'm the CEO of HSC Alliance. A very good morning and also afternoon or maybe evening, and may peace be upon you. We discuss different Halal business management topics in the Masterclass series brought to you by different Halal experts. If you do not want to miss any new HSC Alliance Masterclasses, it's important to like and subscribe to this channel. If you want to join a live masterclass, please allow HSC Alliance on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Blue Sky for registration. Today, we have a special guest, Ms. Aisha Maharani, the founder of Halal Corner, on the topic of Halal Indonesia, the world's largest halal market. Good morning, Ms. Aisha. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you, Marco? A long time no see.
Very well, and in fact, I've been very privileged to be working with you on various halal projects in Indonesia and also beyond. It's a great honor to have you here, and I think all of us would like to hear more about your experience, your insights you've obtained, in particular in the Indonesian halal landscape. Therefore, I think without further ado, please start with your masterclass. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you. It's my honor to have here by Marco, invitation of Marco and HSC Alliance. Yeah. Before that, I'm very warm welcome to all you. Okay, I'll introduce myself. My name is Aisha Maharani, as Marco mentioned before. Okay, today we will discuss about Halal Indonesia, unlocking opportunity in the world's largest Muslim market. Okay, I am a founder Halal Corner. We established from 2011, so it's a long time ago. We start from a community, little community, and we start developing to be media news and also halal consulting, and we also make a good impact to Indonesia halal regulation. Yeah, over the past few years, I've had opportunity to work closely with communities and small industry and policymakers, helping them about understand not only importance of halal certification, but also the massive opportunity it open in the global market. So I'm deeply passionate about this topic because halal is more than a label. Yeah, it's about trust, safety, ethics, and sustainability. So today I'm very excited to share you why Indonesia, as the world halal largest market Muslim, is not just a consumer base, but also driving force to the future of halal economic. Okay, so this is my contact business. You can talk with me after this presentation. Okay, what we learned today, we have for subject why halal. So an introduction about halal lifestyle in Indonesia. Indonesia halal certification, certification methods, flow and requirement, and then Indonesia halal market. What is inside halal market Indonesia? In sorry, this is Indonesia global. Yeah. Okay. So next, why halal? So why halal? This is because it's fundamental for Muslim. Yeah, because also it's obligation for Muslim and has positive value for consumer and producer, and it's also assurance for us and Muslims. So if we buy something, if not halal certified, we afraid to consume because it's like I said before, obligation for Muslims. So if we not have a halal product or something else, we feel not safe. Yeah. So in also in other country, non-Muslim countries, halal also like investment of the economic, like Thailand, also Japan now very Muslim friendly in tourism. Okay, next. this is halal become trend because Indonesia is home the world largest Muslim population, which is to 240 and after over 240 million. And the halal economy includes food, pharma, cosmetic, fashion, finance, travel, and media. Also, nowadays in Indonesia, cosmetic very growth rapidly. Yeah, we have over hundreds halal cosmetic, local halal cosmetic, like skincare. Yeah, so this is a very promising market. Also, we have a lot of Chinese and Korean cosmetic enter to Indonesia. So this is a very promising market. And global Muslim spend reached about 2.4 trillion US dollar in 2023 across halaling sector. So many halal sector, a very promising market. So consumer needs and awareness of halal are increasing. In Indonesia, the consumer with halal social media, they're very critical. So if one product enter to Indonesia, they always ask about the halal status. Okay, this is the history of halal certification in Indonesia. We start in 1988. We had cases milk containing lard. It found by Mr. Joko Susanto from Brawijaya University. So it very make big impact to Indonesia economic that time. Yeah. So the late President Mr. Soeharto atau Pak Soeharto called the MUI Majelis Ulama Indonesia to settle this problem. Yeah. So that's this apa this event, that event very make the economy of Indonesia down, about 70%, I think, 70%. So this is very concerning and very worrying to Mr. Soeharto. So he called MUI. That time the chief of MUI was Kiai Hasan Basri, and then they talk about how to settle down this problem. So this is the step one, the first step to enter the halal certification. Mr. Soeharto that time asked the MUI to open the halal certification. In 1989, the LPPOM MUI established, and about 33 years, LPPOM MUI had been halal certification bodies. But in 2000, we had big case. This is international case that the pork enzyme case founded in one ingredient of the Masako that time. Nah, so this even make LPPOM to have a new job. They make a new system. This is called halal assurance system. Why? Because before halal assurance system established, we only audit, and then after that issued halal certificate. That's all. There's no surveillance like that. So this is make the company can fool the halal certification body or consumer. After the halal certification audit, they will put another ingredient that non-halal ingredient. So this is not good. The case of Ajinomoto make the LPPOM MUI to establish the system we call halal assurance system. But in 2014, Indonesian government make a new law. This is law number 33 about halal product assurance. We call in Indonesia JPH. Why? Because one of the requirement from other country is about the certification established or issued by government. Because MUI not government from ministry or like that, yeah, our bodies. MUI is non-government oriented. So the MUI take over by government. Now we call the halal certification body is BPJPH or Badan Penyelenggara Jaminan Halal. So in 2019, BPJPH launching their first step in Indonesia as halal certification bodies. Okay, in 2021, government regulation about how to implement halal system in Indonesia ruled by government. And in 2014 also government make a new regulation. Now we have many regulation from the government. So you have to learn more about the regulation. Now in number 42, first mandatory obligation for food and beverage. So start today, I mean in October, in October this year, there will be sanction for producers if they not halal certificate, but for food and beverage. Okay, about halal certification in Indonesia, before MUI, before MUI, the halal certification status is voluntary. Now after BPJPH take over the halal certification, it become mandatory. So any products in Indonesia that circulate or sell and entering Indonesia must be halal. So the chance of halal certification, we have 3 phase. The first phase is food and beverage, raw material and food additive, slaughtering and derivative product. The second phase is cosmetic. So the next year will be halal for cosmetic and medicines. And in 2019, 2029, the third phase is mandatory halal for other sectors. Okay, this is halal regulatory framework. Like I said before, the law number 33 of halal procedure assurance, kemudian government regulation number 39 for the implementation, ministerial regulation number 2026 about labeling and supervisor, BPJPH regulation number 20 for certification procedure, labeling and supervision. So this is a very we have a lot of regulation now, for the product import product. You have to learn this regulation, by one. The key point in Indonesia, halal is mandatory for goods are the produced, distributed, and traded, especially food, beverage, cosmetic, pharmaceutical, and consumer goods, based on stage implementation timeline. Okay, so the third phase for anything product, for any product, you must be halal. So Indonesia Halal Standard, we have BSN, or we call Badan Standar Nasional, is the body of the standard in Indonesia. Also SNI standard. Also we have ISO, so the Halal Indonesia standard mixed by BSN and SNI, ISO also. Also we comply with Malaysian standard and GSO standard. But also we have applied another standard from other country. However, Fatwa MUI remain the foundation for Sharia-based ruling. The good thing that Sharia and scientific is makes Indonesia system very highly robust. So what is the point in the standard is traceability of ingredients. So the ingredients we can check it is halal or not. slaughtering method, also the production hygiene, halal critical point auditing. This is the category, they must halal certified, food and beverage, and then medicine, cosmetic, modified genetic products, goods, slaughtering house, processing or manufacture, warehouse, packaging, distribution or logistic, serving. This is a restaurant, catering, and hotel. We have two methods of halal certification. Yeah, two methods of halal certification. The first one is halal certification regular. Like maybe in others countries like Malaysia, also the same. We register in online, like online. Yeah, we call it halal. And then the producer choose the LPA, the LPH, or a halal inspection agency. We have 100 now halal inspection agency, and the government will make about 14 LPH. Yeah, so very much in Indonesia halal inspection agency. And then after we apply the document, list of material, flow process production, SOP, and has manual, will be audited by the
You
halal
have went out lah.
agency. After
Oh,
that,
no, gua webinar
they
lah pun.
report to BPJPH, and then BPJPH will send the report to MUI to be have fatwa. Yeah, so the halal certification in regular method, fatwa by MUI. After fatwa, the MUI will make a report to Halal Indonesia. Yeah, I mean this is BPJPH to issue the certificate. So this is the regulation of the halal certification in halal in regular method. How about the halal certification in self-declare? You no need audit, yeah. So it's just a self-declaration of a producer, and then will be verified by halal supervisor and BPJPH, yeah. The document you need only legal document and list materials, and there is no need to be audit, yeah. After that, they will send the report, yeah. The halal supervisor will be send the report to Fatwa Commission. This is the Fatwa Commission, is not MUI, but Fatwa Commission by BPJPH. After that, they will send the report to BPJPH to issue the certificate. What is the regulation halal in regular method? So this is a complicated level production process, yeah. But in halal self-declare, simple level production process. Yeah, so like SMA, yeah, micro industry, you can make halal self-declare certification. The halal regulation for the regular through an audit by halal inspection agency, and it costs, yeah, there is costed, and sometimes it's very expensive, yeah. Depend which LPH or halal agency you will choose, yeah. The cost will be applied to BPJPH and audit. For all scale of business companies from national and abroad, yeah. Halal fatwa from MUI, and for self-declared is free. You no need to pay anything because there is no audit process, yeah. So this is for medium to lower business scale. And the fatwa, yeah, like I said before, they will be given by Halal Fatwa Committee. This is starting but 2 years ago. Okay, we will talk about Indonesia halal market. This is demographic and psikology Indonesia halal market. Indonesia, as we mentioned before, we have a large of Muslim, yeah, about 87% Muslim. So they have to also the median age. This is the consumer, the very active consumers, about to 23 or 34 years old, yeah. They're very active in social media. Also, they're very consumptive, yeah. So this is Indonesia. We have FOMO style, FOMO, fear of missing action. Yeah. So if there's a new product or new style, this young segment, this young market, they will follow the trend. Yeah. So if you have a product to sell Indonesia, this is new and then this is interesting, they will not think twice to buy your product. Okay, purchase driver, halal assurance, quality health, price value, local taste, and sustainability. This is mean you have to look of the local taste. Yeah. So some product from abroad, they will apply the local taste. Yeah. They will make another innovation on their product to demand, to fulfill the demand of the consumer. Also, this is a purchase driver, need to halal assurance, also quality, this is good or not, not the endangering our health, Also the price, if this very cheap, they will buy it, and like that, low cost that also. So how to enter the Indonesia halal market, for import product, so from maybe like Malaysia or something, you have to map your product HS code category. This is by 2024, by 2035, 34. But we have now another method of halal certification because Indonesia have regulation, mutual regulation, mutual regulation with other country like Malaysia. So we have MOU that the product from Malaysia that halal certified can be entered, but the product must be registered first, to BPJPH. But if you want to halal certified by Halal Indonesia, I suggest to choose the certification regular method because your product from another country, from Malaysia or something else, cannot make to the halal self-declare method. And then you can select the LPH or halal audit agency, You can send the documents and then train halal supervisor. This is about the rules. You have to also mention, localized formulation and packaging to meet halal and BPOM labeling rules. Also, you have to see the rules in Indonesia, also the BPOM or BPJPH. So if you want to more engage with the consumer in Indonesia, you have to know some call or influencer Indonesia can also boost your product, So you need to communicate with community in Indonesia, Islamic community, or halal influencer Indonesia, or like that, So what is you can do and you don't, Do use halal to maintain full ingredient, traceability, set guidelines, train teams, and monitor suppliers. So this is you have to fulfill the rules in halal standard in Indonesia. Also, plan for labels change. You have to engage with LPH, keep QA or PPH, Di sini halal supervisor record. Don't use ambiguous ingredients, or we call subhat, without clear halal certificate. Also, if you halal certified from your origin country, this halal certification body must be acknowledged by BPJPH. So don't overclaim or misissue the halal logo because we have regulation now. If you claim the halal logo, but it not fulfill the halal standard, you can face the law ya here. Okay. Next, Indonesia Global Halal Leadership. Wait. Why Indonesia have a role in global halal? Because we have we active in member of SMEHA, IHAF, and OIC. Yeah, so Indonesia not only what we call jago kandang, yeah, maybe yeah, what in English jago kandang, you know, maybe in Malaysian word you will know about jago kandang. I mean like what? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So BPJPH pushing for mutual recognition agreement with over 50 countries. We have MRA with another halal certification in over 50 countries. Yeah, also Malaysia. Indonesia also initiated the idea of ASEAN Halal Council. Maybe it's a new, yeah, about few months ago. Yeah, ASEAN will have Dewan Halal as Malaysia and Indonesia for the initiator. This make halal certification from Indonesia not only valid locally, so our halal certificate also acknowledged and accepted by another country because now issued by the government, not MUI again. Yeah. What the sector that make Indonesia halal industry growth? This is some sectors like food and beverage. Yeah, 80% of certified product fall into the sector. So this is food and beverage, very rapidly increasing in Indonesia to be halal certified. It is a very fundamental, only basic needed in Indonesia. Yeah, food and beverage. Cosmetic and personal care is the second place. Like I said before, we have more hundreds, yeah, over hundreds halal cosmetic in Indonesia that halal certified. Also now we start to have pharmaceutical and traditional medicine. We have about how many? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe over 50 company that halal certified in pharmaceutical and traditional medicine. So now Indonesian consumer not so worried to have a halal pharmaceutical. Modest fashion, this is a very interesting because in Indonesia also in other country our fashion like hijab or abaya, also the for Muslim women in other country, Indonesia aspires to become the global halal hub. Yeah, and then halal tourism. Yeah, we have halal certified Muslim friendly hotels and destinations. So it's not only one but many halal hotel in Indonesia you can find here. Yeah. Now we start halal supply chain and logistic as Marco also initiate in Indonesia. Yeah. So I learned so much from Marco about halal supply chain. Now some logistic also halal certified in Indonesia. So why halal Indonesia matters globally? Yeah, like we said before, I mentioned before, we have almost bigger population in Muslim. Yeah, halal is a legal requirement, not a marketing strategy. We have huge market for halal cosmetic, food, and pharma. This is three sector that very interesting, yeah, in Indonesia. So the consumers, mostly the women, yeah, they like to try new cosmetic, yeah, or for food maybe not so interesting from another country because Indonesia so many have local food or culinary that we can try, yeah, and halal. But for cosmetic, it's very interesting because mostly from China and Korea, but rarely from Japan or another country enter to Indonesian market. So this is a very promising sector for other country. If you have a cosmetic product and it's halal, you can entering the halal market in Indonesia. And also Indonesian recognized with OIC and ASEAN Halal Platform. Okay, we start about question and answer now. I would bring back to Marco. Give it back to
Ms.
Marco.
Aisha, thank you so much for your kind presentation. I think also your enthusiasm on halal Indonesia. I think there are a lot of opportunities, what you're sharing on halal Indonesia. You talk about food and beverages, cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, modest fashion, tourism. I think Indonesia is big. It's a beautiful archipelago, beautiful different foods, different people, and a beautiful nature. And I think Indonesia has a lot of opportunities in the halal industry, as you also highlighted, the population of Indonesia. I think we have good education institutes in Indonesia, and also several universities are offering courses in the field of food science, halal pharmaceuticals. I think Indonesia can play a very important role as global halal production hub. Also, you shared about halal logistics, supply chain. As you mentioned also in your talk, Indonesia is the first country in the world that makes the halal supply chain mandatory by law. It started already since 2024, and for cosmetics, pharmaceuticals implemented by next year onwards, 2026, October 2026. Before I start a Q&A, open up the floor, I will just thank everybody for joining, and our next masterclass will be on the 23rd of September 2025 on the topic, are our halal food supply chains broken? So I look forward also to meet you there.